Tonight, our season opener as the Orono Spartans come to Hopkins to take on the Hopkins Royals. Hello and welcome to the Lindbergh Center. John Jacobson along with Andy Gugersberg. And Andy, Hopkins, a team that swept Orono in 2 matches last year, once during the regular season, once in section play. Different year this year, and some really new personnel, especially on the Orono side.
Yeah, Orono graduated almost their entire roster. One of the few players that came back was libero last year, turned middle hitter this year. We'll see how that works out for Orono. Should be a fun match for them. Defensive squad, do some nice things. They pulled out a nice 4-set win over Spring Lake Park just Saturday in this very building as part of the Side Out Classic.
For Hopkins, it'll be a different look in that Samantha Seliger-Swenson, who's been such a big part of this program the last 6 years, has moved on. She's at the University of Minnesota. Her mom's the head coach, so it'll definitely be different, but they still got some very good weapons here. Absolutely.
Jazz Martin is probably one of the highest touching players in the state of Minnesota. The junior outside hitter, verbally committed to Minnesota, definitely a game changer. And they also have Sam's cousin, Tara Lee, who does some things differently than Sam did, but still a very capable, high volleyball IQ type volleyball player. Really excited to see what she can do.
Early in the season, Andy, you've only played a couple of matches. You're really just getting into things. What do you look for as a coach from your team?
I think the big thing we look for at this point in the season is cohesiveness. How does the team respond after a mistake? Do they come together? Do they want to be in it together? The wins will come later in the year. This isn't a type of match where they have to win in 3 or Orono has to win in 3. That's not the big outcome here. It's how does our system work with the personnel we're going to see. You know, I know Vicky's is going to switch her libero tonight from the libero she used Saturday, trying to figure out what pieces work well next to who. So that's the big piece of an early match like this.
That should be a good one tonight. We're looking forward to it. It's Orono and Hopkins High School Volleyball. It's coming up next, live here on Channel 12. Stay with us.
On the go. Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
The world is online, and we're all connected. While there's a lot to explore and discover, we each need to do our part to keep the internet safe. Cybersecurity starts with you. Learn how you can stay safe online at dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
We are live at the Lindbergh Center. John Jacobson and Andy Gugersberg as the teams complete their warm-ups. Hopkins in blue, Orono also just to the right of your screen there doing their warm-ups as we look at the lineups for each team tonight. We'll start with Orono. Grace Reiners is their libero. She is a junior. Morgan Markser, middle hitter, a junior as well. McKenna Rice, right side hitter, a senior. Claire Turnham, an outside hitter, a senior. Naomi Byrne is an outside hitter and a junior. Megan Anderson is a setter. She is also an 11th grader. Hannah Strigow, 5'10" and senior, is a middle hitter. And for the Hopkins Royals, Andy and I talked about Jasmine Martin in the pregame. 6'3" junior. Andy, she can really jump out of the gym. We'll see that here in a few minutes, I'm sure.
Should be exciting.
Amanda Gans is a senior, 5'8". Nicole DeWitt's a libero, a senior this year. Greta Werner, a veteran of this Hopkins program, a junior outside hitter. Anna Erickson, just a freshman. Plays both outside and middle. Tara Lee is the setter this year for Hopkins, and Olivia Hawkins is the senior middle for the Royals. And so as you look at that Hopkins roster, Andy, as we've done the Royals in the past, some names you're familiar with if you follow the program, along with a mix of new girls, at least new to varsity.
Absolutely true. The new varsity girls definitely fit a system. Talking with Vicki and some other coaches over the last couple of weeks, the great thing that I found about high school volleyball is you'll have one or two studs, go-to hitters, a setter that can really run the show, a libero that can take the entire backcourt, something of that nature. But the teams that win are the ones that get the role players to buy into their role and accelerate it. So you take a kid like a DeWitt who's going to libero today, and she's not going to be making a highlight reel. Her job is to just fill in and make sure that ball is up so Tara can run her offense. And Erickson in her first year isn't going to be asked to carry a whole lot of the load, but when she gets the ball, she's supposed to put it in play and put pressure on the other team. That's what the Hopkins Royals do because this program is so deep. They have kids. We actually worked with Vicky's youngest, who's I believe in 2nd grade, and already knew how to handle the volleyball. Volleyball is a community tradition here at Hopkins, and as a result, the names may change, but the skill is still the skill. These kids are still able to play at a high level. When they graduate a Sam Swenson, it's not like the program's going to disappear off the map. They move to a new section. Expect them back in the state tournament discussion as we get closer to that part of the year.
A little bit interesting when we get down to section play because they lose some teams that have traditionally been very strong in that section and have knocked them out of the playoffs in the past. Wayzata moves to a different section. They move up north with Champlin Park, Maple Grove Osseo, that group, and they lose Eden Prairie and Minnetonka, moving south to a different section. So they're kind of, even looking at it on paper, they'd be the favorite going in. That's still 2 months away, though.
Yeah, and that's exactly the big point there. It's what's on paper. And on paper, yeah, they're the best team in the section. They stay healthy. They continue to buy into what Coach Swenson is getting them to do. I see them at the Excel in November. It's going to be a different path for them. I think Edina's probably the big push in their section. Minneapolis Southwest can do some things as well. But right now, that section is theirs for the taking. I had a good conversation with Scott Jackson earlier in the year, and he doesn't feel quite as lucky as Vicki does right now.
Right.
So,
well, we'll take a break and come back. Get ready to start this match. It's Orono and Hopkins Volleyball, and it's coming your way next on 12 Sports. We're back from the Lindbergh Center in just a moment.
Volunteering is more than just a word. It's a window to opportunities. Take Mark, for example. By taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television, Mark is helping bring entertainment and information to his community, along with building a foundation of skills that will take him one step closer to his dreams. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.
Hey, going out like that?
Yeah, why?
Well, what would the neighbors think?
I see you! Come look at Mr. Feather. Look what I have. Mr. Bird, remember? Bark, bark, bark. We're just playing. We're just playing. I'm trying to get you out of here.
Even still.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today.
Oh, you should pick that up.
Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
30 million Americans will suffer from an eating disorder at some point in their lives. The National Eating Disorders Association has the information and resources to steer people and their families toward the road to recovery.
Hi, I work at the NEDA helpline. We have something called Click to Chat, which is a live chat with someone on the helpline, and they're really able to get support.
Call or visit the NEDA website today for help and hope.
The world is online, and we're all connected. While there's a lot to explore and discover, we each need to do our part to keep the internet safe. Cybersecurity starts with you. Learn how you can stay safe online at dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
$30 million Americans will suffer from an eating disorder at some point in their lives. The National Eating Disorders Association has the information and resources to steer people and their families toward the road to recovery.
Hi, I work at the NEDA helpline. We have something called Click to Chat, which is a live chat with someone on the helpline, and they're really able to get support.
Call or visit the NEDA website today for help and hope.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Hey, did you buy something from some gaming site?
What do you mean?
Yeah, look, there's a bunch of different charges on here.
Do you think someone stole our credit card information?
I don't know. That site sounds familiar, though.
Yeah, isn't that the site that Billy's on all the time?
You don't think. Billy!
Stop and think before you connect. Playing online is serious business. Visit dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect for tips on how to be safe online.
That whole section.
We are back at the Lindbergh Center. Orono 2-0 on the season. They were 21-10 a season ago. And Hopkins Royals 1-1 so far this year, 23-6. One season to go. Hopkins, Andy, a team a year ago that had an 18-match winning streak. Toward the end of the season, lost last regular season match to Wayzata, and then 2 matches later in the section semifinals lost to the Trojans again, and a mild upset ended their season. And a team that we thought might be able to go to state.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a great squad coming into last year. Rode that great run, including winning the area invite, a huge tournament in Apple Valley, which some will say has a deeper field than the state tournament itself. Put themselves in a good position, but Wayzata got hot at the right time. I think we did the section final last year, and then talking with Scott Jackson about the twist that team made late, really pushed at the end. To see Sam Swenson, the decorated player that she was for the 6 years she ran the show here, not make the state tournament her senior year was quite devastating, not only for her, but for fans of Hopkins volleyball from around the state. Great kid, a great senior class that just didn't quite have it at the end. I can tell you right now from talking with some of the players that are on this year's team, they're excited for an opportunity to get to that place they missed last year. They know they need to win matches early to get comfortable and then get that push at the end of the season.
There's Vicki Seliger-Swenson now in her 21st season as head coach here at Hopkins. You saw Rachel Tebow was on the right of the two coaches we showed you there a moment ago. She's just in her second year as head coach, but has a veteran coaching background. Had coached at Watertown Mayor for a number of years, and now back in it here with Orono. And Vicki's team been at state in the past, but it's been a few years, and looking to make a trip to St. Paul here in 2015.
Yeah, it's a nice conference schedule for them. You talk about teams that get ready for the push, get ready for the postseason, and being in this conference that they are in, playing against the teams that they play night in and night out, will really get them ready for their section tournament run.
Hopkins' next match after tonight will be at Roseville next Tuesday, September 8th. They won't get into conference play until September 17th when they host Edina here at the Lindbergh Center. For Orono, following tonight, they will have one more match this week. They will host St. Anthony in their home opener. And then their next match will come at Edina next Tuesday night.
Yeah, Vicki definitely schedules some non-conference teams that really push her team early. Playing in the Side-Out Classic against a very good Rosemount team on Saturday. Going to Roseville, which is a nice place to play at. Greg Euland always gets his teams up for all of his out-of-conference matches. His team has been at the state tournament the last 2 or 3 years. Going to be a nice preseason to get ready for a tough conference schedule for Vicki and the Hopkins Royals.
Hopkins to your right in black, Orono in the navy blue to your left. And the Spartans with the serve to start tonight's match.
Hopkins going to start with Tara Lee in left front, putting Jazz Martin in the back row to start, hoping for a quick side out and get her a lot of swings in the front row.
Megan Anderson to serve for Orono as we get underway tonight at the Lindbergh Center. Serve receive handled by Amanda Gans down to the floor, and an early point for Orono. Nicely put away in the front row, Andy.
Say that again?
Nicely put away by Orono there.
Yeah.
Able to get that opening point.
Yep.
Play at the net, it's down. And another point for the Spartans.
Gaines doing a little bit too much movement with her platform here. Probably just needs to get this ball up and off and let Tara run the offense.
Set to Martin. Handled back row by Anderson. Pushed across. And they're set by Lee. Swing by Werner, and then into the net by Orono, and Hopkins has his first point.
Yep. Werner does a nice job waiting outside for the ball and really attacking into that 6 seam there, the 5-6 seam. Orono doesn't quite have the ball handling to pull that back out.
Got a Werner serving. Front row tapped over by Rice. Down to the floor. Orono point, they lead it 3-1.
Yeah, Orono's big lefty right side, McKenna Rice, set that ball on the outside. It's an awkward position for a lefty out there on the left.
Corey Turnham with that serve. A little tip by Lee at the net by the setter, and it gets her club a point, and it's 3-2. Nicole DeWitz, she's a senior libero. It's a right-handed swing into that one. Puts the serve in play. Quick set, missed her hitter in the middle, and trying to recover was Reiners, but unable to play it after the set missed Strigow, and it's a mistake for Orono and a point for Hopkins. Strigow at the net, down for a point, gets the kill this time. Ball set to her, and Orono back in the lead.
Yeah, good job there going back to the middle hitter after an error on the previous ball. Very gutsy play by a setter who trusts her middle.
Lee outside to Martin off the block. Back set, down the line, and it'll be a point for Orono. A kill for McKenna Rice.
Martin set on a solo block there as the middle blocker went to cover the outside. Gave Rice a whole lot of options. She took it down the line. Nice swing by her.
Spartans by 2. Lee will dump it over for a point.
Tara very good at running the offense and being offensive herself when the opportunity presents itself.
5-4. Ball across, and the kill for Orono's Naomi Byrne. Junior, talking to Coach Tebow before the match, said we're not necessarily young by age, but our juniors really don't have any varsity experience. They're young by varsity standards.
Yeah, looking like they've been playing a while now. They're starting to come together. They're moving well as a unit. Hopkins with the kill there.
Makes it 6-5. Martin to serve. Orono gets it over, able to recover. Lee to Werner, cross court, down. And a point for Hopkins, ties it at 6.
See here, ball comes over. Martin handles the ball out of the back row. Lee puts a nice high set outside, and Werner's going to abuse that deep 5 all day, I have a feeling. She's a very smart hitter, hits spots quite well.
Lee this time tried to dump it back corner, but too much on that one. And Orono back in front. Martin can't handle that. There was an ace for Orono, and back up by 2.
You see Byrne here. She's serving from her left side down the sideline. Creates a really tough angle for Martin to create a pass back into the middle of the court where Lee is.
Handles this one. Lee back set, ball hit over, and that'll be a kill. Amanda Gans, a senior, registering the kill for the Royals. In for Hopkins, Lauren Ortiz. She will serve here. Anna Erickson also back in for the Royals. Ortiz with a serve. Set across, dug up nicely by Martin, but they get a point out of it. It'll be a kill for Olivia Scharf, junior outside hitter.
Martin's able to cover so much court back there just because of her sheer length. Her arms are so long, she's able to get to a lot of balls that a smaller hitter or DS probably couldn't.
Werner attacking, down, another kill for her. Couple of kills now early in this first set for Greta Werner, 6-foot junior. Hopkins back to within a point again. Amanda Gans serves. Back row handled by Reiners. Good play by Ortiz to get to that ball. Martin up on the attack and gets her first kill. And we're tied at 9.
Martin does a good job of waiting deep on that ball and then accelerating into the back row attack. And because she's so high at contact, she's able to hit that ball down with some force.
Lee across for Werner. Got it off the blockers and down. Orono couldn't quite close on that. And Hopkins in the lead for the first time at 10-9. Back row, that's off of Scharf and down. Royals with a run of 4 straight. Nice serve by Gans, dug up by Reiners and put away. The kill for Orono and Strigow gets the 10th point of the set for Orono. Anderson serves. Ball across to Werner, off the blockers, back to the front row. Back set across, off of Lee and down. Mark a kill for McKenna Rice.
Rice with her second or third kill of the match already early here. She's able to stay wide on the ball, get herself in a good position, and catches Lee not quite where she needs to be off the net.
Served by Anderson. Front row, Lee across to Werner, blocked, but out of bounds. No net violation called. Well, so it's point for Hopkins, and they're in front by 1. Lee, quick set in the middle. Too long. On the hit by Anna Eriksson. Point Orono. Right idea, but just not executed in that case, and it's 12-12.
Eriksson overruns the set a little bit. She's under the ball more than she needs to be. Keeps that ball in front of her. I think she can score on that set.
Service error for Scharf. Royals back in the lead. Nicole DeWitt's back in. She'll serve here. Also Olivia Hawkins, a senior, in. Lee in the middle. Hawkins taps it over, handled by Anderson. Lee back out for Jazz Martin. Net violation on Orono. Point for the Royals.
Martin doesn't quite have her timing down now on these sets from Tara. Needs to wait deeper, longer, back further in the court, and then accelerate into the ball so she can swing through.
All set across and then block put up by Hopkins as Hawkins and Lee got up and blocked the attack from Naomi Byrne. Biggest lead so far tonight for Hopkins here at 3 points at 15-12. Ball in the middle, Strigow left unblocked, able to handle that and put it away easily.
Hopkins had to lose track of the setter there, jumping with a back row setter with 4 hands, leaving Strigow unblocked. Pretty easy point for her.
Quick set in the middle, good block. Point for Orono. Morgan marks her, timed that perfectly.
One-on-one solo block. Hawkins has to hit around that ball. She can't go into 2 hands. If there's 4 there, then we got other options, but has to find something better to do with that ball.
Ball outside Martin. Cross court down for a point.
Fast set to Martin on the outside. Has one place to take it. Has to take it cross court and does for the kill.
Back set, a little tap over off Hopkins and then played over by Lee. Set by Anderson, over blocked by Martin. Off the tape, played by Lee, up in the air by DeWitt. Crossed by Werner, and Orono able to handle that. Pushed across by Byrne. Long volley here, across. Nice dig up by Lee on the attack from Markser. Set across the net, cross court, off Werner and down. Kill for Orono, Naomi Byrne. Good individual efforts on both sides on that point. And Orono ends up with it, and they pull back to within one.
Yeah, great rally, not for a lack of effort. Good defense on both sides.
Lee back to Martin, got it down.
Martin, I think, still not quite sure the ball she's going to get from Lee here. Kind of takes off a little early and then has to adjust her approach angle. Back to serve now, Martin.
Lee had to scramble to keep that ball alive for Hopkins. Martin back row, Lee over by Gans. In the middle, a scramble on the Hopkins side. Lee able to keep it alive. Quick set for Orono and a point. Markser with the kill.
Markser sees that the libero DeWitt has come in a little bit here and tips over to the sideline in zone 4 in order to score.
Martin handled by Reiners. Back set, and Werner's just a mistake hitting that one into the net. And off the set from DeWitt, and now we're tied at 17.
Tough ball as DeWitt took that ball from in front of the 10-foot line with her hand, so Werner wasn't allowed to jump and swing, kind of put a bad spot on it. Martin gets ace there again, getting served down that right sideline, isn't able to get her hips around the ball and push it back inside.
Naomi Byrne puts her team back in front, 18-17 Orono. Tapped by Lee over.
Back row attack on Lee. Really looking for Hopkins to get in on that ball. There was a little miscommunication. And have a timeout here by Hopkins. Everything we thought we'd get right away. Some mistakes early, some miscues, but some pretty athletic plays. Great defense, which we were promised from Orono. Hopkins pretty equal to the challenge, put on a couple runs of their own, and find themselves down here 17-19.
Yeah, and Orono able to come back after being down by 3. And now up by 2 here, as Andy said, 19-17. Still in our first set tonight. Our next volleyball match comes your way next Tuesday night. Wayzata will be home to take on Lakeville North.
Yeah, a couple teams that played each other in a state final about 4 or 5 years ago. Lakeville North in a rebuilding mode, I know that for sure. And Wayzata in a reloading mode, as they don't seem to ever graduate enough to really hurt them. They've always got kids in the wings coming in ready to go. Scott Jackson has his teams in a pretty good place most of the time. Should be a good match.
Lost their season opener, though, to Lakeville South last Thursday. Wayzata did.
Yeah, I ran into a couple of the Lakeville South kids, and Lakeville South just got on a run late, and their libero was able to get a lot more balls than Scott wanted her to.
Back into play. Hopkins trying to rally here. That hit long by Werner, and Werner now good position here late in the set, leading 20-17. Byrne to serve. Off of Martin. You got 3 of those tonight, Andy. Have gone right off of her, and Karen's off to her right.
Yeah, she seems to be taking the ball, facing the wrong thing. As a passer on the outside, you want to make sure your hips are facing where the ball's coming from, and you dip that shoulder inside where the rest of your team is. She seems to be driving her right shoulder out. We get the same thing there from new DS Jensen.
Jensen comes in replacing Martin. Big swing and a kill by Martzer.
Ball had some pace on it. Lee does everything she can just to try and get out of the way here. Free ball opportunity. Martzer here knows where she wants to go with the ball. And Lee, like I said, in a decent defensive position. That ball just coming too fast.
22-17 Orono. Lay outside to Werner. That is down for a point. Hopkins has life. They're within 4. Now they'll get the serve back at 22-18.
Is that a 6-point run by the Trojans? I believe so.
By the Spartans, yeah. I think
Spartans,
it was.
Excuse me.
Yep. For second serving rotation for Lauren Ortiz. That hit goes outside on the attack from Markser, unable to knock it down in play. So now 22-19. Ortiz didn't get it to where she wanted to. That's a crucial error. Makes it 23-19. Spartans within 2 of winning the first set. Now they'll try to put the Royals away. Markser back to serve. Set to Werner. Off of Markser, a long scramble and run. Anderson able to push it across. Lee will dump it over, and that's a point.
She's dumped 4 times and has 3 kills on it. I think she's seeing the court pretty well here. Free ball opportunity. Lee looks, sees that the left back defender for Orono is a little too deep and finds a way to score.
Gans serving. And we'll attack and a point for Scharf. And now it's set point.
Scharf patient on her attack there, takes a look and sees the hole in the block and rolls it right through.
Lee to the middle. Good recovery by the libero, but then misplayed at the net by Orono. And that's a Hopkins point, 24-21.
Werner does a good job of getting her eye on Rice and seeing that she's going to try and send that ball over and presses over to try and block that. Good defensive effort there.
Martin back in for Hopkins. Ball in the middle. And there is the first set. Andy to Orono, 25-21. Didn't play like a team that doesn't have a lot of varsity experience. A pretty good first set for them, I'd say.
Yeah, you can tell. I mean, when we talked with Vicky before the match started, she said Orono's going to come in with nothing to lose, and Strugau was swinging like that the entire set there. Just went after it every single opportunity she had. Really nice start for the Spartans. We'll see how the Royals recover here.
We'll take a break. We'll come back with more. You're watching live coverage of high school volleyball at the Lindbergh Center on 12 Sports.
An eating disorder feels like having another person inside your head. It kind of built this wall around me.
The main thing that we needed was hope.
Your age, your gender, your ethnicity. Eating disorders don't discriminate. They can strike anyone. The National Eating Disorders Association has the information and resources to steer people and their families toward the road to recovery.
Call or visit the NEDA website today for help and hope.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Sharing your passion starts with taking that first step. Take Lindsay, for example. Her first step was taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television. Right away, she received professional training and now has the tools and skills necessary to produce her own show. She's turning dreams into realities right from her own home. And best of all, she's sharing her passion with members of her community and beyond. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.
Hey!
Orono wins the first set over Hopkins. 25-21 was the final. We get ready for the second set.
Yeah, it should be a good match here. In set 2, we'll see what Vicky does adjustment-wise. Looks like they're going to spin one rotation like we would expect to get Martin in the front row to start. Martin needs to catch fire here. She was a little quiet in the first set. If this team's going to win this in 4, Martin's going to need to produce some more points, be it blocking, hitting from the front row. She had a nice couple swings from the back row. Werner did more than her fair share. We'll see how the role players fill in. We'll see if Martin can step up her game a little bit. Spartans seem to be clicking on all 8 cylinders, so we'll just let them run here. Good play from, especially from the middles, from Strigau, and it was Markser. Both had really nice swings in the first set, some pretty good blocks as well.
And not a lot of mistakes either, Andy. I mean, sometimes when you're, I don't know if undermanned is quite the right word, but you're the underdog team, certainly. You've got to limit your mistakes as much as you can and force the other team to execute, to beat you.
And that's exactly what Orono did in that first set. They, like you said, limited errors. They served so tough. They had 4 or 5 aces plus about another 5 or 6 balls where Lee had one option, if any. So if they can continue that, it's going to be a good night for Orono Spartan volleyball.
And the first point goes to Orono. Nice set to Strigau on the back set and able to put it away cross court. And they get the opening point of set 2.
Erickson, new to the middle position, has been playing on the right side for the last few years for the Royals, and you can tell she's a little late on her blocking footwork. Doesn't have it down quite yet.
Anderson running to set this ball, pushed over by Scharf. From the middle, Werner attacking. Anderson able to handle that. Left-handed swing, but into the tape by Rice, and Hopkins gets the points.
Rice delays her swing a little bit. I love watching Martin's eyes when she's ready to block here. Does a good job of delaying, getting her eyes on the hitter, not on the ball, and pressing. Back row block violation on the setter, Anderson. Martin does a good job of going up once that ball gets in the plane and swatting it back at her.
Served by Ortiz. And the attack, this is wide on the hit from Rice.
Ortiz in the libero jersey this set. We saw this switch. I think this is who was liberoing on Saturday when they played Rosemount as well.
Hit long on the serve by Ortiz. And it's Scharf to serve for Orono. Her team down by 1 early in set 2. Ball at the net. Lee able to get it across. Orono unable to counter. And the Royals by 2.
Lee so strong and so tall, able to get up and push that ball over the net.
Lee serving. Good play by Ortiz going to the floor. Martin overhandled by Scharf. Martin tipping it over and down for a point.
Doing a much better job this set of starting deeper, giving herself some opportunity to see the ball.
Another serve from Lee. Anderson back, cross court, missed wide on the attack by Rice. And Orono fans thought that one had caught the line, but it's wide, and it's Hopkins with its biggest lead so far tonight in the match, 4 points at 6-2. That one is out. Yeah, it's 6-3. Strigow serving. A tap over at the net by Gans. Quick set in the middle. Hawkins got it across. Dug up well by Anderson. Running over with Rice to play it. Orono scrambling a little bit, but keeping the ball in play.
Strigow as a middle playing some great defense right now.
There's Martin. She's blocked. That's down for a point for Orono. Another good rally. Orono wins.
Strigow, sweat on the floor, I believe, is what she's trying to figure out. Gonna take a second here and wipe up the floor. Is there anything she can't do? I mean, goodness. Smiles all the way across.
A little too much mustard on that serve, and it's 7-4 Hopkins. Martin looking to get Hopkins in a little bit of a rhythm. Ran that ball down, but couldn't really get it in a good position. And Orono gains the point, 7-5.
A little communication error there between Lee and Ortiz, trying to figure out who's going to take that second ball.
Service ace for Orono's McKenna Rice.
Martin continuing to struggle in serve receive.
7-6, now 8-6. That serve into the net. Rice out, Reiner's back in.
DeWitt's will switch and serve here. In for Hawkins.
And DeWitt's we saw at the libero spot in the first set.
Erickson a little bit better there with her footwork to try and close that block, but still isn't able to do enough to block that ball back down as she gets used for the kill.
Burns serving. Ball cross, good block by Markser. No, it was long. Missed it. 9-7 Hopkins.
Spartan block in a great position, but Werner hits that ball so hard it goes deep off the block.
Gans serves. Reiner's played it, jumped over by Anderson. Good dig on that play by Gans to keep it alive for Hopkins. Now at the net, ball blocked outside. The point for Orono.
Scharf, undersized outside hitter, gets a great tool there off Lee. Really nice job by her to see the block set up and then figure out a way to score.
Markser deep serve off of Ortiz and a point for Orono. And they've tied it at 9.
Good serve there. Markser puts some pace on the ball, puts it up into the shoulder of Ortiz. That's a tough ball to pass.
Werner down the line for a point.
Werner doing some really nice things for the Royals right now.
(10-9) Hopkins. Anderson for Scharf. That's off of Erickson. Another point for Orono. They've tied it again.
Scharf listed on the program as 5 foot enough, it seems like, as she's tooled the last 2 balls she's gotten an opportunity to swing at.
Anderson's serve is long. Hopkins up by 1.
After a little chaos, Hawkins back in for the Royals.
Ortiz served that ball. Miscommunication there. Mistimed jump by Strigow. A point for Hopkins. 12-10 Royals. Looking to even this match up after dropping the first set. Strigow high across for Scharf. A violation on Hopkins.
Scharf had 4 kills across the front row that time. Really nice job by her. Nelson entering the game for the Royals.
Jane Nelson is a sophomore. Here's Martin attacking. Kill for the junior. 13-11.
Good rhythm set here. Good pass. Lee gets that ball exactly where Martin needs it to go, reach high and swing and put it away.
Werner was dug up by Reiners. Knocked across. Good dig on the Hopkins side. Down for a point.
Lee with her 4th kill of the match. Started the entire rally with a great serve and then lays out to the right side for a great dig to maintain the rally.
Timeout on the floor.
Royals up 14-10 on the Spartans here. Swenson's squad doing some nice things in a pretty good rhythm. Some lineup changes as we're going, and that's what we talked about in the pregame about how we're just trying to figure out who plays well next to each other and how do we get everybody in a rhythm so we feel comfortable throughout the entire match. And I don't know that they found it, but I think they're getting closer.
Royals by 3, 14-11 as we come out of the timeout. Another serve for Tara Lee. Martin missed on that swing. 14-12.
Tough angle there as that ball was passed to the left back corner, and ball was put in a position where Martin had to go against her body flow to figure out how to put that ball in play and wasn't able to.
Ball the middle to Werner. That'll be a point.
Getting the booth involved, always appreciated. Nice. It looked like that was, every once in a while a back row set just seems to be a bailout. That looked like it was part of an offensive play. I really like the fact that Werner was in rhythm there.
Long on the serve from Martin. Royals still leading on by 2 though, 15-13. Rice to serve for the Spartans. Handled by Ortiz. Lee across front row. Werner with the kill.
A nice swing by Werner there. She's able to take that ball down the line. Didn't get a whole lot of line left from Megan Anderson's block, but was able to paint that ball right where it needed to go.
Serve from DeWitt. Big swing by Markser. That was handled by DeWitt's. Martin, that's a point. No, that's long, excuse me. Point for Orono. And it's 16-14.
Martin struggling to find the court right now, just overrunning a lot of balls and putting herself in bad positions.
A serve. Naomi Byrne. 16-15.
Burns gets the bottom to drop off of that ball. That's a tough ball to pass for Ortiz.
Serve into the net by Byrne. Now gives that point back, and it's 17-15 Hopkins. Lee gets to that ball and put over by Gans. Anderson to Markser in the front row. That'll be a point for Orono.
Block is in the right position to go get that ball, but their hands are low, so by the time they get across the net, the ball's into them, and that's why they're getting caught and lifting that ball as they try and pick up their own block.
Markser, ball dug up by Ortiz. Great play to get that back in for Hopkins, but Orono able to complete the play. Scharf with the kill, and we're tied at 17.
Great look by Lee as she plays that ball over the net from the left sideline, tries to get back in time to block, but Scharf able to find the small line she left and gets it down for a kill.
Markser floated it long on her serve. Royals back up by 1. Reiner's back in for Orono. Werner with the serve. 18 all. Service error. Werner.
(18-18), game to 7 here. Got a little delay as we fix the antenna.
Megan Anderson, the junior setter. That's a point for Orono, and the Spartans have come back and take the lead.
Serving, giving the Royals fits right now here.
Another good serve by Anderson. Royals scramble, and Ortiz gets it over. Anderson over, and a point. Strigow with a kill. A little tip shot. That worked. 20-18 Orono. Timeout Hopkins.
Yeah, everything seems to be going the way of the Spartans right now as their little run here has them up by 2. We'll take a look at this last point again. Nice little serve. Werner with a little trouble handling it. We're going to get a free ball opportunity. Ortiz puts it in the right spot. Tip coming here, and there's a solo block, and one of the 2 pin blockers has to get off the net, peel off, and pull that ball up into the air. Whichever one isn't going to block. If Martin's not going to block, she's got to pull around. If Lee's not going to block, she's got to make a play there as well. There's too much watching of volleyball right now. That's what our audience is doing at home. It can't be what the Royals are doing on the court.
You don't want to go down 0-2 either, Andy, do you?
No, down 0-2 is a real tough spot to come back from, although I saw it a couple times this weekend. Champlin was down 0-2 and pulled off what will go down for a while as the upset of the year, taking down the #1 team in the state, Prior Lake. Also, I believe there was a Class A route had the same thing. It was Maple Lake and somebody at a great event that Hopkins hosts for the 2nd year.
Breakdown Sports Side-Out Classic. 34 teams in all were here, each playing 1 match on Saturday. Scharf at the net. Lee keeps it alive. Werner to Martin across. Good play by Scharf to keep that ball alive for her team. Down for a point off the block on the attack from Rice, and Orono earns that point. Great point by the Spartans.
Great pickup by Sharp. Rice with no transition footwork, just unloads and finds Martin's hand for the kill.
Oh, sneaks over for an ace.
When it's going your way and it's going your way, great serve there as Anderson probably on her 5th or 6th serve of this rally in a really good position. Another timeout by Coach Vicki Swenson trying to calm down the Hopkins Royals as they're in a position where they're trying to figure out what's going to get them out of this rotation. Take a look at this last point here. Nice serve, catches tape. You know, I've been coaching for a long time, and I'm never going to waste a second of my life trying to figure out how to pass that ball. We'll let them take that point. It's a lucky serve. Good on Anderson as she's able to swing hard enough to get that ball to trickle over. But it's one of those things you talk with coaches year in and year out. When you're on a run, that's the serve you get. When you aren't on a run and you earn that side out finally, that same serve will stay on your side and not go over the net. It's just the way the volleyball gods run the court for you, unfortunately.
22-18 Orono. Won the first set, 25-21. Trailed much of this set, but they've come back to take a pretty good lead, Andy. When you get to 22 points, there's not, when you're on the Hopkins side, you don't have much margin for error when you're still sitting at 18.
Absolutely true. Rick Coolwine, who was the varsity coach at Cretin-Durham Hall when I was coming up, said once we get to 20, got to play error-free. And if we're down at that point, not only is error-free not good enough, we've got to start stealing a point here and there. You know, back in the old school scoring days when it was side out and a mistake didn't necessarily cost you a point, you could be down by about this many and still survive to finish as long as you took care of the ball when your opponent was serving. Not the case under rally scoring, as every point matters, and matters in a mistake-ridden game, which is kind of what we've had here. It hasn't been as clean as the first set. There have been some nice plays, some nice rallies, but the rallies are ending on mistakes. We got a little, speaking of delay and error here, I think we got a scorekeeping errors. They're trying to figure out where everybody's lining up, and just like the players are knocking the rust off as they get going in the beginning of the season, so our officials and our scorers table seems to be doing the same thing here. Now we're ready to go again.
You, however, are in mid-season form already.
I'm a little stuttery, but I appreciate the compliment just the same.
Off the Anderson serve, back in action. Werner gets a much-needed point for Hopkins. Finds the open spot in the middle, and it's 22-19.
Now here's that situation. Hopkins earns the side out after a long-fought rally there. Almost had the wrong server serving. Puts themselves in a good position here. Ortiz back to serve. Going to need a run off her arm here.
Anderson pushed across down the line by Rice. Werner with the attack again. Overpass easily tapped down by Nelson. 22-20.
They're sitting in rotation one, Orono is. Their best passer so far seems to be Sharp, and she's not in serve receive. They got a lefty on the left side. I'd make a change if I'm the head coach over there.
Strigo knocked it down. Ortiz, good save, and then Martin with the swing.
You want to go
point for Orono, 23-20.
You want to go down the line. You can either swing cross body or you can turn your body. She did both that time and missed it.
Back set, attack. He is just a touch long on the hit from Rice. That would have been a big one to get them to 24. Instead, it's 23-21. Tara Lee serves. Ball across, and that is missed by Orono on the attack from Byrne. 23-22.
Tara Lee in her first year of varsity action here, pretty good server. Seems to be putting some pressure on the Spartans.
Long set across to Martin. That's going to go off of Sharp, and we are tied at 23.
23-23, three-point run here. by Hopkins. Martin finally in a position to take her big swings.
Oh, a service error, and it's a point for Orono. 24-23. Set point for the Spartans.
Strigo back to serve. She's done everything so far this set. We could see her put one away here. I could see that happening.
Ball to the middle, pushed by Martin across, and that's a point. 24-all.
Like the call there to run the stack and bring Martin in over the top of Nelson. Really good decision there by Tara to go to the second hitter who pushes deep corner.
Martin serving, trying to put her team back in the lead. Ball at the net, marks her, knocked it over. And Orono back in front. Remember, they have to win by 2 here. 25-24. Rice on set point. Good serve. Ortiz able to dig it up. Warner, big swing and a point for her. 25-all.
Warner playing next level volleyball right now for the Royals. You see her here. Everybody knows where the ball's going. She drops it cross court and puts it in front of the left back defender. Orono did make a change and is no longer giving her that deep corner shot.
A tip at the net. Scramble by Orono. Wow. What a play to get that over. And then it marks her. Puts it away. It was a terrific play by Naomi Byrne to keep that alive. And then the point by Markser, and it's 26-25.
If Byrne plays that ball with her right hand, it's in the Orono bench, but she has the whereabouts to bring that ball back in with her left hand. Great play by her.
Warner blocks, got it down for a point off the blockers, off Markser and Anderson. 26-all. Here's Amanda Gans. Served it deep, but in play. Over by Scharf. Martin in the air. Lead in the middle to Martin. Off the tape, down for a point.
Good lead by Lee there as she puts Martin on the 10-foot line. We get a big swing from Martin there. Catches tape for the kill. 26-25 or 27-26. Gonna have a timeout here from the Spartans. We'll take another look at this last play. Good serve. Puts the Spartans out of system. Scharf takes it deep. Nice pickup by Martin. Lee doesn't have any shot to the outside. Goes back to Martin. That's a tough ball to play for the Spartans. Great swing, good opportunity here. Calm, collected are the Royals, up 27-26. Wasn't too long ago we were talking about the worry of potentially being down 0-2. Right now they're 1 point away from tying this up at a set apiece. Things get a lot easier if you're the Royals at that point. Gans,
go ahead.
Gans going to serve here. If she's not the team captain, in my opinion, she should be. She carries herself in a very positive way. Her teammates seem to be looking at her in between points. Doesn't come off the floor. Seems to be the calming presence that the Royals need. And Swenson had it for the 6 years she was here as well. That's not Lee's personality, so you need a Gans on the court and off the timeout, cool, calm, collected, serves a nice tough ball.
Sharp's ball into the net, and it's Hopkins taking it after leading much of the set. They fell behind late at 22-18, and they make it 28-26. We will take a break. We're tied up at a set apiece. More volleyball from the Lindbergh Center coming up on 12 Sports after this.
You watch Channel 12 at home. Why not on the go? Channel 12 is online at 12.tv. Watch on your phone, on your tablet. Channel 12 is your local source wherever you go. Just log on to 12.tv. Check out our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and even watch live events via live stream. So don't wait. Stay up to date with Channel 12 and 12.tv, your local source.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control?
To be safe.
Don't worry.
Just...
I got this. It's a new motto. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
The world is online, and we're all connected. While there's a lot to explore and discover, we each need to do our part to keep the internet safe. Cybersecurity starts with you. Learn how you can stay safe online at dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect.
Sharing your passion starts with taking that first step. Take Lindsay, for example. Her first step was taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television. Right away, she received professional training and now has the tools and skills necessary to produce her own show. She's turning dreams into realities right from her own home. And best of all, she's sharing her passion with members of her community and beyond. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.
John Jacobson and Andy Guggersberg. We are back at the Lindbergh Center at Hopkins High School. Tied up at a set apiece. Hopkins and Orono. First Tuesday of September. Kids getting back to school. And where did summer go, Andy? It seems like it was just high school baseball and lacrosse season, and here we are back in the gym.
You are asking the wrong guy. On top of the normal summer I put myself through, I was fortunate enough to marry the woman of my dreams, head coach from Blaine High School, Celeste Gorman. Want to take a second to wish her good luck as they continue a successful season so far tonight at Park Center, just getting underway here at 7 o'clock.
Congratulations, by the way. It was just a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, it was August 8th we got married, which was that magic week between the end of my season at Northern Lights, and it still gave us a little time to go on a honeymoon before she had to start getting the Bengals ready for their season.
I know Blaine's had some success, had a really good team last year. What kind of club does Celeste have this year?
You know, they graduated a lot of their ball control, and they graduated Taylor Morgan. Taylor Morgan, freshman at the University of Minnesota with Sam, going to be redshirted this year after a lower leg injury to start the season. Actually had a scrimmage a couple of weeks ago. Tough for the Gophers to lose her, and tough for Blaine to lose her as well. They had a nice win to start the season, a 4-set win over Cambridge Isanti. I don't know. It's going to be a new and interesting year for the Bengals this year, that's for sure.
Underway here in set 3. We are all tied at 1. Werner blocked at the net. Nicely done by the Spartans. Rice and Strigow getting up. And again, for the third straight set, Orono has the first point. Megan Anderson to serve. Martin, the attack and the kill.
Great lead by Lee there. Sets Martin at about 8 feet, so she's able to hit long into the attack and put the ball down.
Werner to serve.
Three-ball system, got to make sure they're all in the right spot. Got it.
At the front, Strigow comes through with another kill for Orono.
Strigow seems to respond quite well when they need her to take a big swing and find a way to find the ball on the floor.
Lydia Sharp with the serve. Ball in the middle to Werner. Dug up well by Reiners. And over by Byrne. In the middle as a kill for Erickson.
Great swing by Anna Erickson there. Her sister Audrey just graduated from Hopkins last year. Does a really good job of seeing that the block is taking away the left side, puts it on the setter.
Ortiz serves. Ball in the middle, and easy play for Jane Nelson on the overpass to put that away. 3-2 Hopkins here in set 3. That's down for a point for Orono's Naomi Byrne.
Great touch on the block there by Lee. Martin's got to see that and run that ball down, pick that up, and be able to hit in transition. She was ready to hit on the outside, but the ball hit the floor before it was up.
Strigal serves. Ball across to Martin. Got a lot behind that one. 4-3 Hopkins.
Just sounds better off her hand, it seems like.
Lee to serve. Quick set in the middle, over. On the hit by Markser. Here's Werner. Got it down on the point. Greta Werner's had a solid night in the gym tonight.
Absolutely. She's scoring from the front row and the back row. Had some pretty nice digs, putting some pressure on her opponents with her serve.
That ball into the net when the attack from Byrne. Good serve by Lee helped set that up, I think.
Yeah, I think Byrne wanted a higher ball, didn't quite get the ball she was looking for, still took a swing and led to the error.
Ace for Tara Lee.
Turnham having some trouble with that tough serve from Lee here. She gets a good toss and gets a good contact. She can do some real damage behind the service line.
Ball in the middle. Markser got it across. Gann's able to handle it for Hopkins. Martin blocked. Big point for the Spartans. Don't want to fall too far behind early in this set. It's 7-4 now.
Rice does a good job of delaying her block, knowing she's not going to reach as high as Martin does, but catches her when Martin's actually hitting the ball.
Well, miscommunication on the front row that time for Hopkins. And it's 7-5. Off the tape and a serve for Rice.
Just like that, back within one are the Spartans.
And did it again. This time Werner able to get to the ball, but Hopkins couldn't quite recover to get into their offense. And now it's 7-7. So a quick 4 straight for Orono. Rice another serve off the tape. And a little dump by Anderson. Ortiz scrambled to keep it alive for Hopkins. Anderson quick set for Markser. Blocked back by Nelson.
Nelson kind of looked like a fadeaway block here. I think she got herself out of position but was able to hang long enough. Oh no, she is pressing in there. Looked a little different from back here, but does a really good job vision-wise of pressing over as the ball's getting hit. Tough block now. Martin back to serve.
Play at the net. Anderson across over by Byrne. Lee setting for Werner. Anderson set again for Byrne. It's off of Lee and down for a Orono point, and it's 8-8.
8-8. Martin, when she serves, most of the time you're going to get a serve that goes up and down, but she's so tall and she reaches so high, she kind of serves that ball straight across, and then it drops afterwards.
Set by Lee. Here's Martin with the swing. Too long on it.
Good rhythm there as Ortiz gets a nice pass. Lee leads Martin into the ball, and then Martin doesn't quite finish her swing.
That's an ace serve. 10-8 Orono.
Back into the game is Jensen for Martin.
Orono on a 7-1 run here. Served by Byrne. Lee all the way across. Warner's got to reach back for it, but makes the play. Anderson trying to dump it over. Didn't catch enough of the ball, and it's a point for Hopkins.
Werner's eyes were huge as that ball got dumped into the net. She had no idea it was coming, and pretty thankful that the net got in the way.
Served by DeWitt. Strong on the serve. Point Orono. It's 11-9. Leal set for Werner. Anderson over. Got a tag from Turum. Hopkins did recover. Turum again off of Lee, and this one goes down. Daryl Claire Turum gets the dig for the Spartans, and it's 12-9 Orono.
Lee hanging in there, getting some touches on the ball defensively, but Royals having some trouble terminating in transition here.
Another point for Orono and a timeout coming for Hopkins. 13-9 Spartans.
Trouble for the Royals right now is they're not quite clicking on all cylinders. Lee seems to be flying around, not quite putting the ball in a position for her players to do something productive with it. We have a tough ball in serve receive. Lee tries to make a play on it, but goes under the net. One of those high school club differences and rules is that play would be completely okay in a club setting, and you could see by the look on Tara's face, she didn't quite understand what happened there. Off the timeout here, look for Werner to get this ball, and if there's a seam of line, she's going to take it. They got to make sure they take care of the first ball. Coach Swenson talking to libero Lauren Ortiz right now about, who wants to take care of that first touch. We got to make sure that first ball is up and off the net so we can run our offense, because they've got the attackers to do some nice things if they're given opportunities.
We've learned over the years, Andy, not to read too much into early season match. Remember, you and I did Hopkins Wayzata early here last year, and Hopkins ran him out of the gym, and then come later in the season, Wayzata came back and beat the Royals twice. So Hopkins a little uneven in its performance tonight, but not necessarily a future indicator of the rest of their season.
Oh, absolutely not. We've got to get the team back in a rhythm together and gelling, and that's the purpose of half of September. I think by the time they get to their tournament at Apple Valley at the end of September, that's when they're going to need to be playing good volleyball, together volleyball. Martin's going to come back in here, and saw her sitting right next to Coach Swenson, getting some words of encouragement about belief and just believing that she can. Because I've found it's one of the things I found out as a male coaching females. That's the toughest thing to get young women to believe in, is that they're better than they think they are. We'll see what happens here.
14-9 Orono. Up now by 5. Martin. Point for Hopkins.
Ortiz does a great job right there of passing the seam between her and Martin, allowing Martin to just go back and get ready to swing, and she's able to terminate.
Here's the serve from Gans. Outside and across. Werner down by Lee.
Werner does a great job that time. We'll take a look at it here. Great job reading the ball. Tara goes up with two hands, so it looks like she's going to set. Blocker not paying any attention to her. She's able to put that one down.
Lee all the way across for Werner. And it goes off of Reiner's. And a point for Hopkins, 14-11. Excuse me, 14-12 now.
Backing away as Lee was and still able to push that ball 30 feet. That's a strong setter's arms right there.
Gans serving. Ball to the middle, hit over on a strong swing by Byrne, but Martin handled it. Werner over. Byrne got good serve receive there. Werner attack again. This time gets the point.
So smart. Werner at only, they list her as 6 feet. I'm going to go ahead and say that may be a little high. I would put her at about the 5'9" range, although it's been a year or so since I've stood next to her. Able to swing really smart.
Quick set in the middle, and the kill by Erickson. 14-14.
Just like that, there are the Royals. We got a free ball coming over. Watch Tara jump set, which allows everybody to kind of stick on her for a second, and they take their eye off Erickson.
5 straight for Hopkins. Strigow gets one back for Orono.
Seems to be when they need one, and Strigow's in the front row. That's been where the ball goes, and with whether Hopkins knows about it or not, I don't think matters. Strigow just wills that ball to hit the floor.
Megan Anderson serves. Here's Martin into the net with her hit. 16-14 Spartans.
Ball set a little low for Martin to do anything with. She ends up putting it into the net there. That's a good set.
Blocked by Strigow. Hopkins had the right idea. Orono able to defense it. And now they've got the last 3. 17-14 Spartans. Martin got this one over. Werner on the overpass with the kill.
Good sweep by Werner there as she takes the ball and pushes it back across the court to zone 4 where no defender was.
Werner serving. Long on the serve. It's 18-15.
Had some good pace on that ball. Just couldn't get the bottom to drop out of it.
This play by Orono on its side of the net makes it 18-16. Strigow getting a quick set from Anderson. 19-16 Spartans.
You seem to be running that B, the quick set. They're almost intentionally passing past the middle of the court, making it really hard to get a double block on it.
Strigow serving long. 19-17. Here's Lee's serve. Anderson back set. Split the blockers. Lee kept it alive. Ortiz got it over. Let's try the swing again. It's off the block. Kill for Rice. And a point for Orono. Their 20th of set 3.
Rice coming alive here in set 3. Coach told us she was one of their key cogs in their match on Saturday.
Over by Martin. Anderson to the middle. Markser finds a good open spot on the court and drops it in. That was a terrific play by Morgan Markser.
Markser dropped a couple into the middle of the court there on that tip. So as we see the ball getting set here, we get a high set, and as Lee dives into the middle to defend the ball that had scored the last couple times, Markser pushes it towards the sideline. Very intelligent play from Markser. Junior middle hitter. Playing the odds, my guess is she's new to varsity this year. Does a really good job day in and day out. We've seen a lot of Strigow, but Markser's quietly putting together a nice game for herself as well.
Nice match here for Orono. They're, regardless if they win the outcome at the end of the night, they've really pushed Hopkins and obviously are in a great position to go on to win this match.
Yeah, I think Orono, knowing they got beat twice last year with a senior-heavy squad, this is a really good position for the Spartans to be in at this point.
Got swept in the two matches, too. They're both 3-0. Tonight, we're tied 1-1, but Orono with a 21-17 lead here in the third set. Rice getting set to serve for the Spartans. Set to Martin for the kill. 21-18.
Martin significantly higher than the Spartan block. Just get her a ball at her peak and let her go get it.
Martin across, got it. Hit by Werner, was handled. Lee trying to dump it over. That was dug out, and the kill from Markser. After a good dig by Turner, Markser, another big point here late in this third set.
There we see the high two ball from Martin to get them the serve, and now we'll see them serve receive again here, see what we're looking for.
Here's Jazz Martin, back row handled by Strigow. Turnham trying to push it deep in the corner and missed.
Martin tracks that ball all the way to the sideline, sees it's out of bounds, lets that one fly. That spot's been open. What I noticed just on that last serve receive ball is Martin has made an adjustment. She's getting her body outside the ball that gets served down her sideline and missing back to the middle, which is a great adjustment by her.
Here's Werner, dug up by Reiners. Cross and over, a kill for Turnham.
DeWitt's realized that ball was out of bounds right after she touched it.
23-19. Markser serving for the Spartans. Well, that one missed at the net by Hopkins, and now it's set point for Orono.
Lee trying to encourage her teammates right now. We're fine, we got this.
Good set, ball put over. Anderson trying to dump it, Lee. Got that up, Werner across, floating it. Back row, Anderson, long set across and missed on the attack from Rice, 24-20. And serving to keep Hopkins in this one. Ball in the middle, and Strigow with a big kill, and Orono wins 25-20. And they go up 2-1. Look at set point again. Strigow with another big attack and kill. We'll take time out. More coverage of high school volleyball from the Lindbergh Center after this on Channel 12.
Hey, did you buy something from some gaming site?
What do you mean?
Yeah, look, there's a bunch of different charges on here.
Do you think someone stole our credit card information?
I don't know. That site sounds familiar, though.
Yeah, isn't that the site that Billy's on all the time?
You don't think.
Billy! Stop and think before you connect. Playing online is serious business. Visit dhs.gov/stopthinkconnect for tips on how to be safe online.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Good one, son.
Last summer, my new dad took me on vacation. First, we went deep sea fishing. Wow!
I'm so proud of you, son.
And then we went on Thunder Shark. That was awesome! Let's go again. 3 times. I gotta say, it was pretty cool.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
Oh, not again.
Sharing your passion starts with taking that first step. Take Will, for example. His first step was taking free TV classes at Northwest Community Television. He's learning production skills and now has access to cutting-edge equipment. He's working on local music productions, meeting new people, and gaining experience needed to produce his own show. Best of all, he's sharing his passion for music with others in his community. Share your passion. Visit nwct.org.
From the Lindbergh Center, Orono and Hopkins, our season opener on Channel 12 for high school volleyball in this 2015-2016 school year. And the Orono Spartans leading the Hopkins Royals 2-1. You know, Orono was up in that second set fairly late, Andy, at 22-18. Ended up losing. They really didn't show any ill effects in that third set, did they?
No, they did not. They, I think, you know, it's a team that doesn't know what they're supposed to do or not do right now. You know, they always talk about, you know, with experience you gain all these things. Well, one kid on this team knows that they got swept twice last year. All this team knows about is winning. They're 2-0 right now. They're up 2-1 in their third match of the season. They don't know that they're not supposed to win, so they're just going to keep playing hard and fast and see what can happen. Hopkins, on the other hand, now they're down 2-1, a position they have been in before this season. See how they recover, see how quickly this team can mature and how quickly these athletes can put themselves in a position to be successful. It's Hopkins tradition. This is what we do. We come in and we win. We win a lot of matches. I can't think of the last time Vicky hasn't had a 20-plus win season. It's the way Hopkins does things. So I'm sure that the Royals aren't done yet. Going to be a good match for them. I could see this easily going 5. I think we'll know a lot within the next 5 to 10 points.
Orono Sun, we are ready to go here in the fourth set tonight. Greta Werner with the serve to get us underway. Handled by Grace Reiners in the net. And Hopkins for the first time gets the first point of the set. Anderson will get the ball to Strigow. Tipped back by Martin. Hopkins quickly up 2-0.
That time, Orono passes the ball to the right of center, right into the big block of Martin.
Ortiz let it go, and it fell behind her for a point.
I think Werner was trying to call her off, but didn't quite put herself in a position to make the play. Communication error leads to a point for Orono.
Anderson's serve gives Hopkins a 3-1 lead. Set by Strigow on the kill from Rice.
Lefty finally puts herself in position where she can get her right shoulder forward and torque through that ball. Does a really nice job there of swinging down the line.
Turnham back to serve for Orono. Lee across from Martin, off the block, down for a point, 4-2 Hopkins.
Martin elevates well there again.
Strigow, cross court. Burns' hit was received. Martin quickly in the middle. Strigow. Lee back across. Ortiz, another good dig from the back row. Here's Martin down the line. But missed at the point for Orono.
Line wide open for her. She misses by torquing her body a little bit too much there.
Here's Gans with the attack. That was handled by Turnham. Back to Turnham, but into the net. (5-3) Hopkins. Set to the middle over Markser, kill shot. 5-4, Orono back to within one. Good attack from the junior, Markser. Martin, handled by Strigow at the net, over by Anderson. Lee for Werner, that's a point. Greta Werner makes it 6-4 Hopkins. Nicole DeWitt serving. Royals up by 2, trailing 2-1 in the match. Werner able to put it across for Hopkins. Left side attack. Handled off the hit from Byrne, and then the hit by Werner off the blocker in the Hopkins point.
Werner leading all players in kills right now without any hesitation, and we aren't even keeping stats. Seems to be finding a way to score at just about every turn.
Off the antenna, service error, giving Orono a point, 7-5. Byrne to serve.
Byrne and Reiner's running a two-person service seat. They both touch the ball a lot here. We'll see how Byrne does from the service line.
In the middle, Martin. Long run. Orono able to handle it. Strigow put it across. And there's the attack and the kill for Erickson. (8-5) Royals. Gans serving.
Service ace. Good looking ball, dropped off at the end. Royals up by 4. Gans still serving.
This one didn't get enough on it, and it's a point for the Spartans, now 9-6. Serve coming for Markser. Ball set outside and over. Point for Werner and Hopkins. Royals by 4, 10-6 with Werner serving. Deep ball handled by Rice. From the front row, attack is long. On the swing by Turnham.
Strigow seems to be getting herself involved as much as possible. Even in a good position where the setter can get on the ball, Strigow is calling her off and setting.
Ball up in there by Martin, blocked back. Set to Martin again, that's over, a point. Hopkins with a 12-6 lead. And a timeout taken by Orono.
12-6 lead for the Royals. Here in set 4, they're in a good position. Seem to be clicking on all 8 cylinders again themselves. Lee seems to be putting the hitters in a good position. Attackers are getting themselves off the net. Orono not serving quite as tough as they had been previously. I think they're a little comfortable trying to maybe gather the situation. Feeling like they might win this one. You know, you've been part of those matches before where the team that isn't supposed to win is suddenly up 2 games and they start thinking, oh my gosh, we're actually going to win this. This isn't supposed to happen. And now all the doubt that hasn't been anywhere near their mentality the entire match suddenly starts to creep in because they're about to do something they're quote unquote not supposed to do. Hopefully for Orono, they're able to get back to the volleyball they played in the first and third set, and the majority of the second set, actually. For the Hopkins Royals, they now go, okay, this is what we're supposed to do. Run our offense, play our game, work hard. Good things happen. Here we go, Werner to serve.
Werner floating it over. Ball to the middle, Strigow. That was dug up, kept alive. Martin tapped back at the net. Ortiz their best to keep it alive, but Orono picks up a valuable point to make it 12-7. Anderson up the serve across. Martin with a vicious attack for a point, 13-7. I think we thought maybe we'd see more of that tonight and more points like that tonight. Martin being able to just wind up and swing like that.
Yeah, she's very much a rhythm hitter, and she's got to be in the right footwork step pattern in order to take a big swing. See, that ball's a little high for her, so she had to slow down. She's used to having Sam set her, which she did for a couple of years. Now she's got to adjust to Tara, and as Vicky said, different setters do things differently. And Martin's going to have to adjust her footwork to the ball she's getting. She's an outside hitter. If she's a middle, we're just going to guarantee she gets the right ball, and if it isn't there, we'll blame the setter. As an outside, you've got to do a little bit more on your own end.
Turnham got that last point for Orono. Back set and missing on the attack down the line was Rice. 14-8 Hopkins looking to even this match up at 2 sets apiece. Tara Lee the serve. Back set across. Down. Dug up by Lee. And hit over by Werner. Now Anderson scrambling to get to a ball. Put it over by Byrne. From little Lee to Martin. 15-8 Royals.
Roll shot picked up very easily. Lee finds Martin in rhythm. Block doesn't stand a chance.
Ball over, and there's a kill for Werner. Now Hopkins doubling up on Orono at 16-8 here in the 4th set.
Werner out of the back roll, able to find the corner of the court. That time she went right down the middle for another kill off the defender's platform.
Martin blocked this time. At the net. Over. Werner had a good dig there. Ball pushed across by Reiners of Orono. Back comes Martin, another attack. And now Martin's starting to find her rhythm with kills on points 12, 13, 15, and now 17.
Free ball opportunity. Strigow, for some reason, not bailing outside. The middle, Nelson hasn't gotten a kill yet. Strigow needs to just get out there and get in front of Martin and not leave her that hole.
Rice with the kill for Orono, 17-9. And the Spartans still with a long way to go here in the fourth set. Striga to serve. That's an ace. Someone was supposed to play that.
That's my ball, Coach. That's my ball. You know, in a typical system, that's probably Werner's ball so that Gans can get outside and take a swing, but no communication leads to an error.
Gans got that one. Martin pushing it over. Anderson, quick set in the middle. Markser over. Another kill for Morgan Markser.
Just swing fast, Markser. Seems to be working.
Lead in the middle for Werner. Into the tape. 17-12 now. Back set goes to Martin, and that one went off of Rice's hands and out of play. Hopkins breaks the run for Orono. It's 18-12 Royals. Martin serving long.
Toss got a little on top of her head there, forcing her to swing a little deeper than she wanted to. Misses that one long.
Ball across for Werner, blocked back. Get it again to Werner. Anderson setting. Over and across. Byrne with the kill. 18-14.
Byrne does a good job that time in finding Amanda Gans's hand off the swing, meaning that Ortiz has to go try and make a secondary touch.
Over by Byrne again. Another kill for the Orono hitter. And it's now a three-point match. Three-point set here. 18-15. It was 16-8 Hopkins just a short time ago. And a 7-2 run by Orono forces Hopkins to use a timeout.
Yeah, it's not that Hopkins isn't doing things right. It's that Orono now is. The last three swings that Orono has had, they've resulted in points, doing some really good stuff. It's not about hitting the ball hard. It's about finding a way to score a point. You know, to quote Moneyball, do we care how he gets on first? No, we do not. We just need a runner on. All they need is to find a way to score. Byrne has tooled the block, has cut one inside the block. Just relentless defense, which is what Coach told us about earlier about Orono. And now we're seeing it portrayed here. They were down 16-8. There's no way they should come back here. But again, just like we talked about after they were up 2-1, no one told them that wasn't what they were supposed to do. All they know how to do is score the next point, and that's all they're going to work on right here. Rice has a nice serve. It looks like a float, but every once in a while she snaps on it at the end, and it creates some topspin. It's a real tough ball to pass. And serve receive isn't Hopkins' strong suit at this point in the season.
And Rice back to serve again. Back set. Ball tipped and put right back by Byrne. Knocking back the ball that Gans had put across.
If you're going to tip that ball over the block, it's got to get above it too. That's the second or third time they've pushed that same ball up.
18-17.
Pass is tight to the net. Lee doesn't have much footwork to get to it.
Martin over. Block. But down on the Hopkins side of the net. And it's all tied at 18.
Hopkins is playing not to lose right now, and it's cost him the last few points.
That serve didn't catch him enough of the net. And a service error for Rice and Orono, but Rice with some good serves got her team back into this set. 19-18. Hopkins leading by 1 off the serve. Cross court down for a kill. Byrne again.
Byrne with some heavy topspin on that swing as it looked like it was going to be long, but she threw her hand over the top fast, generating the topspin to get that ball to drop in the corner.
19-all. Served by Byrne. All set to Werner. Block. Point. Anderson and Markser got the block. Orono's back in front.
Werner unloads on the ball, but there's no vision. She doesn't see what the block looks like, so she goes right into the teeth of the block. Not the type of play you're going to want to have from the junior who scored at just about every turn all day. She's got to see the block. She's got to think smarter. Live to fight another day is the phrase that comes to mind here. We see the serve here. It's passed on the net, but the ball's going to go outside. The block is closed. Her feet aren't to the ball, and she just unloads willy-nilly, hoping that she's going to tool the block. You can do that if you go high hands, but you can't drop your elbow and hit that shot. Block's going to have you all day at this level.
12-3 run now by Orono. They are down 16-8. Looks like we might be headed to a 5th set, which we still could, but now Orono suddenly in the lead late in the 4th set here at 20-19. Naomi Byrne, the junior, going to put her team up by 2. Martin from the middle, handled by Strigow. Anderson across. Big swing, turn him to kill.
Royals are playing passive volleyball. They don't want to give away a point. Orono playing aggressive volleyball, trying to steal a couple, and here they go, up by 2.
There's Burns. Serve taken by Ortiz. Lee. Point for Orono.
Ortiz stiffened the shoulders, passes this ball too tight to the net. Lee has to go into the net to try and play it out, and that's a violation. Better off the net. Werner with some options.
Werner is able to drop that one in. 22-20. Hopkins trying to hang in there, trailing by 2. Gans serving.
Opportunity for Hopkins here.
They push it across. Here's Anderson. Will drop it in for a point. 23-20 Orono. Big play by Megan Anderson. Markser serves. Here's Werner. Long run for Anderson. Turnham. Got that one into the net. 23-21.
Werner back to serve, needing a run here.
Turnham dropping it over the blockers in the front row. Martin attacking. Put back by Orono. In the middle, Werner. And that's a point. Reiners in Byrne colliding in the back row. It's 23-22. Back sets. Off the block. Struck out with a big point. 24-22. Anderson serving for the win tonight. Martin, the attack. It's long, and Orono takes out Hopkins, a top 10 team. 3-1.
Well, shock would be an understatement. We'll take a look here at the last point. Good serve here, decent pass. Lee's gonna go to Martin, who should win games for you, but she just gets a little under the ball and hits it long. Story of the match for me is twofold. It's first of all, it's Strigow, the middle hitter for Orono, who did a little bit of everything just often enough to win, and also Hopkins not quite ready to take advantage of opportunities. They played tight most of the match. It's going to be it's the beginning of the season, and that's the good news. This isn't the last match of the season by any stretch of the imagination. Great volleyball had, especially on the Orono side. Hopkins going to recover. They're a young team by a lot of measures. So the first-year setter got some room to work, but did a lot of really nice things. Martin took advantage of some big swings. Werner, I think this is her first year as a hitter on varsity for sure. There's going to be opportunities. Both middles by the end of the match. It's their first year on varsity. We're not done seeing the Hopkins Royals. They'll be doing some more great things as the season progresses. Hats off to Orono. The Spartans played great volleyball.
Well, that's got to give them some confidence tonight to be able to beat a quality opponent like this on the road.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, that'll do it for our coverage tonight. Orono wins it 3-1. They go to 3-0 in the season. Hopkins drops to 1-2. Great way to start our season. More volleyball next week. Wayzata will host Lakeville North. It will be live at 7 o'clock on Tuesday, September 8th. From the Lindbergh Center for Andy Gugelsberg and all of our crew, I'm John Jacobson. Thanks for tuning in for our coverage of high school volleyball tonight on 12 Sports.